because like it's already we're seeing the statistic that like kids are having trouble reading and writing. I think
Yeah,
AI is just making that a lot worse, and it's kind of like,
yeah,
man.
yeah. They say that when they create like a tool that replaces something that you can do, the ability to do that thing kind of like what's the word, atrophies over time. You know, like people used to be a lot better with like mental math than they used to be
Hmm.
now. Like people aren't like dumber than they used to be. I don't think so at all. I don't think people are smarter than ever, but just certain things like that have atrophied over time. Like people used to have better memories than they have now because now you can just like write stuff to your phone.
Hmm.
You know, you have like a digital calendar, you have a reminders app. There's just a lot of like things people used to be able to do that they can't really do anymore. I mean, like, yeah, what's going to happen with AI and if people are just using it to write everything? You know, they don't learn how to actually write anything.
Hello everyone, my name is Casey, and welcome to Deep Blue. As you can see, I'm wearing an Evangelion shirt, but that's not our main focus. As our main focus is today's guest. Joining us today is a man named Farrell McGuire. How are you doing today?
Hello, I am doing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, if you've seen our past few episodes, I give like a big icebreaker question to everyone. And for your icebreaker question, I just want to ask you, would alien life answer life's questions?
Oh, okay. Would alien life answer life's questions?
That
I,
was like a question someone asked you on a podcast, on
yeah.
another podcast. I was going to ask you the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. Geez, that's a big one. I guess it depends if they have the answer to life's questions or if they can even communicate with us at that level. You know, you have no idea what it's going to be like if we met aliens. It might be totally crazy. They might be like, you know, beings that we can't comprehend. They might be completely weird. They might be exactly like us. So I don't know. I feel like if they had the answers to life's questions, why wouldn't they tell us? That's my thought.
What
Unless
was
they're
that podcast all about? Was it just like hey, I'll just hop on, or was it like another interview, kind of like this?
it was the very first like offer I got for anything while being
Hmm.
a YouTuber. So you're referring to For the Love of It. That was back in like 2023. Yeah, so yeah, I got an email from Adam and he just said, "Hey, you want to come onto my podcast and talk about stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And yeah, that's pretty much how that happened.
That's awesome. So, two things I want to say. So, congrats on being our first publicly married man on the show. I say
Yeah, thank you.
publicly because, yeah, I say publicly because I don't know if like some of the other guys are married and like they're just
Secretly.
keeping a secret marriage.
I suppose it's
And another,
possible. You don't know.
I mean, yeah, we have a bunch of unks
Yeah.
in the show, a bunch of unks. But for anyone who doesn't really know who you are, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Farrell McGuire. I'm a YouTuber. I make videos about horror stuff, scary, you know, the disturbing things found on the internet, that sort of thing. I guess lately I've been focusing mostly on the dark corners of YouTube, that sort of thing. But I'm just super into like I guess what I would call like esoteric internet. You know, just the weird parts of the internet. I just like exploring them and I enjoy telling people about them.
Awesome, awesome. So, one of the first questions I have on my list of questions is why use your first name as your YouTube username?
So
Or your real name, I should say.
or why did I or why didn't I?
Like, why are you using like Farrell
Okay,
McGuire
so
as your YouTube
so
username?
here's a little surprise. Farrell's actually my middle name, believe it or not. My
Okay.
first name is Harry. That's what people call me in real life, but I didn't go by Harry Maguire because there's a very famous British footballer named Harry Maguire. And whenever you search Harry Maguire on YouTube, all that comes up is clips of this guy playing soccer. So I didn't want like to have like a famous person's name, you know? So I thought, okay, you know what, I'm just going to use my middle name instead. And it's more unique. There's not going to be another person named Farrell McGuire, probably. It's not a normal name. But in terms of why did I use my real name? Because when I set up this channel, I wasn't intending it to be like a horror channel. I wasn't intending to really make videos at all. When I set up this channel, I was intending to start a music career on it. I was going to make an album. You know, I've been into music for a long time. And
Hmm.
I recently my band broke up in 2021, and since then I'm thinking I'm gonna like do a music project, like a solo project. And so I started this channel, Farrell McGuire, because that was gonna be my music name. And then I started making videos on it, and I haven't really had time for music in the last little while because of that, I guess. But yeah, that's why I'm using like my name and not like a a
Yeah.
spooky horror name.
I mean, I just use Casey Valentine, and I don't want like people to go up to me and be like, "Hey," a random username. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm not sure if I like that. I
especially
mean
like
this, yeah.
when we're gonna go to VidCon. If I had like a really like weird name, people would just be kind of calling you it all the time, and it just wouldn't feel right.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's gonna be like funny, like just being at VidCon, like everyone, like Jaden, Ray, Aaron. Okay, I'm just gonna call them them. They're like, well, how about like the other guys? Am I supposed to call Fox Akimbo, Fox Akimbo, or like
Yeah,
Broogly, Broogly? It's just like,
that's what
am I supposed to call you
everybody
guys?
calls him in real life.
Yeah, I mean, I just use my Casey Valentine. Well, I mean, Valentine. Sorry for the immersion breaker, but yeah, Valentine's not my actual last name.
What?
It's just,
No.
yeah, I mean, it's like the band My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah,
So it's like, yeah, I just thought it was cool. And like I was in a similar situation with you in terms of music because I was in a band as well. I was in a band in 2023 from like February, and then we broke up in August. Yeah,
yeah,
we were like a shoegaze band, and I thought I was gonna start another band, and then I didn't. I was like, all right, this sucks. I'll just be a YouTuber instead. And
yeah.
then
There you go. Pretty much exactly what happened to me.
yeah, and then I did YouTube. My first like few videos, like I have an unlisted video about this Filipino band, and then I have another video, which is like my very first video about like I don't know if you've seen it. It's called Video Game Soundtracks Meet Alternative Rock. I interview these two musicians. One of them, Kalen, Something Is Real, and then I was like, and then all of a sudden I make a horror video that blows up, and then I make another horror video that blows up. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm a horror guy now.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
You just kind of like you don't find the niche finds you.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Like, what got you into like? Because you started on. I'm seeing your first video being about liminal spaces, and now here you are being Mr. Internet Mysteries guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like the two worlds are very closely tied together. Like this whole like
Hmm.
liminal space stuff and internet mysteries. It's kind of like the same people talking about those two topics. But I guess like the whole like way I started making videos was like I've released a lot of music in my life. Like we did my band, we did 4 albums. I've done like a few like albums on my own too, not like serious projects, but just a few
Hmm.
of them. And like I was just kind of tired of like releasing music into the void that nobody was watching or listening to, And I thought, okay,
Hmm.
it'd be great if like I had an actual audience to market to. And I thought like what's a good way for me to get an audience? And I'm thinking, okay, well, on YouTube you can just like make a video about a topic people are already interested in, and then they'll watch it. And I was noticing like it just seemed like it was easier to blow up doing YouTube than to do music. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna do like a video. I'm gonna get a few thousand views, and maybe then like I'll have some subscribers, and people will be interested enough in me that they'll listen to my music. So I did. I thought, what can I talk about? And I really like this kind of like new, I don't know, like this kind of new horror niche that I guess we're both a part of. That kind of
Hmm.
like kind of blends with liminal spaces and like nostalgia, vaporwave, Vertigo era. Like there's this whole
Hmm.
wide Gen Z internet horror. And, so I thought, okay, I'm gonna do a video about liminal spaces because like that's something I enjoy a lot, and that's something I could talk about. And I thought there were stuff about liminal spaces I could say that other people haven't said already. And so I made the video, and I just kind of like making videos. I didn't think it would be something I would enjoy as much as I did, and the video did pretty well, and my next 10 videos after that tanked. They did really poorly, but I don't know, like I got bit by the bug, like I really enjoyed making YouTube videos. And the ironic thing is like I made my channel to promote music, and now like I don't have time to make music because of my channel.
Hmm.
So it's like a monkey's paw, I got the audience, but I don't have any time to actually make the music that I wanted to market in the first place.
Hmm. Like I have seen like YouTubers that do try to like mix the two together or like make time for another. Like I know like my previous two guests, like Raymundo and Toasted Cherries, they have their music careers.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you know the YouTuber Sagan Hawks, who's actually funny enough my dream guest. He's like this horror video essayist, and like he makes his own music, and then but that music is used for his YouTube videos. So then like people that listen to that music, they can like probably go listen to it on Spotify. So like maybe you
Yeah.
could do something like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do that. Like, I have an ambient
Mhm.
music project called Never Ending Corridor, and
Mhm.
that's basically the soundtrack to my videos is just my ambient music from the few ambient albums I made. And in fact, actually, I'm taking 2 weeks off of YouTube right now to make a new ambient album, so I'll have like a fresh soundtrack for 2025 because I've been using the same 30 minutes of music for like 2 years now. I just
Mhm.
want to change it up a bit. But yeah, I think that's a good idea, like having music in the background of your videos, because I know that I get quite a few comments that will say like, "Who made this music in the background?" Even though I write it in the description, people just don't check, and they'll still comment like, "Who made this music?" So I guess like people are checking it out, which is kind of neat.
So like I think we should go back to the very beginning. Let's just start off with like you and music. Like where do you start off with music?
Well, I guess I learned guitar when I picked up a guitar when I was 12. That would have been in 2008, and I got super into it. It was like my personality in school was like a metalhead, shredding, Eddie Van Halen kind of guy. And I guess as I grew older, I started to get more into like better music. And in 2013, I started a band with my cousin and my good friend, and we did. I guess our first album was more post rock, but we kind of settled into like shoegaze, and
Mhm.
we went to Toronto to record a shoegaze album in 2015, and we spent a bunch of money on it, and we didn't make any of the money back, and that kind of like set us back quite a bit. And the band actually broke up after soon after that, and then I kind of like made our third project under the band's name, but mostly on my own. That was in 2018. And then in 2020, we got back together and did like a fourth and final album. But I mean, after that, it was just kind of the whole project was toast. Everybody was demoralized. I've seen that
Mhm.
happen a lot to musicians I've grown up with. You just get tired of releasing stuff that nobody listens to. You know,
Yeah, I
you can
feel.
do it for fun, but it's also a lot of work to actually put it together. Yeah, but
Did you ever perform live?
oh yeah, we've played tons of shows. That was actually the only way we could make any money by playing shows. We never like went on tour or anything, but we played a lot of shows locally. We would rent out like a pub or a venue for a night. We'd get like, two other bands that we like and we put on the show, and that was a lot of fun. I think when you're like a small time musician, it's easy to get caught up with like promoters and stuff that kind of screw you over. But the best thing to do is to just put on shows yourself, promote them yourself. It's a lot of fun.
Mhm.
And the best, it's really nice to get like bands that are similar to you too, like,
Yeah.
because when you play with a promoter, they might put you with like some like crappy like boomer metal band when you're like playing shoegaze or indie, and it just doesn't match up at all. So we would like
Yeah.
find like actual musicians that we liked a lot, and we'd put on shows.
Mhm.
That was a lot of fun.
Mhm. Yeah, so I think like if you guys ever got back together or if you were back to making music, I think TikTok's like the perfect place for you. Like that whole
Yeah,
like shoegaze has been blowing up recently. Like I mean, I don't really like the new age shoegaze artists. I think they all sound the same.
yeah,
It's like nothing like our classic Cocteau Twins or My Bloody Valentine. But like shoegaze, I mean, it's been blowing up recently, and through people listening to the new stuff, people have been going back and listening to the old stuff. So I think like, and it's also like just like the whole like aesthetic too, like associated with shoegaze. That whole I don't really know how to describe like that whole glitch and like sigils and everything. I think
yeah,
if you guys put your music on TikTok, you're gonna have like a bunch of like kiddos, like being like, "Hey, this is awesome! I found a new underground band that only I can listen to," and then
yeah.
you get more of those, and then boom.
I think we might actually have our music on TikTok. I'm not sure. I think I when I was distributing it, I checked an option to distribute it to future platforms that our
Mm-hmm.
distributor got on it. I'm pretty sure it is on TikTok. I might have checked like a few years ago. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you're right. The shoegaze has kind of had a resurgence in the last few years. There was like a very small resurgence when we were doing it back in like the mid 2010s. But
Mm-hmm.
recently, I've noticed like a lot of like younger people, like people like 10 years younger than me, that are like getting really into it, which is cool. I mean, I love
Mm-hmm.
shoegaze. You know, it's my whenever I make music, I somehow end up making shoegaze, even if I don't set out to do it. It's
Mm-hmm.
just the music that I know how to make, I guess.
I
But
mean, like I'm a shoegaze. I was in a shoegaze band too. Like all I play is shoegaze. Like I'll just cover another song and it just ends up sounding like shoegaze. Or if I write my own stuff, I'm always using like sus9 or major 7 chords.
oh
So it's
yeah,
like
of course,
so it's like, oh man, I
because
guess
they
I'm the
just sound the
shoegaze
best.
now. They sounded great. Like I would just I know like I'm not that proficient in theory. I was just like I just know my 101 stuff, but like I would just be watching YouTube videos on best shoegaze chords, best Midwest emo chords, how to play an FACG CE tuning. It's been a
Yeah,
lot of those.
the best music theory thing that I ever learned was just once it clicks like how chords are made, and like just learning like scales and like how to like just come up with your own chords. That's like such a huge thing, because chords are just like notes in
Hmm.
a scale, right? So like
Yeah.
once that kind of clicks in your head, that's like a super useful musical tool. Is suddenly everything just kind of makes sense after that.
Hmm. Yeah, just go list a bunch of bands and artists. Just like put the audience on
Boy, I gotta check my Spotify. Like what I'm listening to like recently, or just
anything like your all-time favorites, your childhood favorites, what you're listening to now.
I'm just gonna go through what I'm listening to now. But I started listening to Father John Misty's new record, Mahash Mashana. It's pretty good. I'm not a huge Father John Misty fan, but it's a good album. It's very grand. I like Baroque
Hmm.
pop too, and he's just got this like grand romanticism that like Bruce, you know, like an artist like Bruce Springsteen has, and I like that grand vision of music. Listening to Richard Dawson's new album, he's like a folk artist.
Hmm.
I really My favorite album by him is Peasant from 2017. That's a really great album. He's just got this super deep, great voice, and his songs are really cool. He like plays with like this guitar that's like broken, and it's tuned to
Hmm.
like drop C, I think. So it's two steps below E standard, and it just matches his voice really well. He's got a really cool style. Oh, I
Hmm.
was listening to Hole's 1994 album "Live Through This."
A classic.
I never actually listened to Hole before. I only know that Courtney Love was married to Kurt Cobain, but I needed like some energetic gym music that didn't suck. So I listened to that album. It's super good. I got to get more into like that Riot Girl genre, but I really like that whole album. I know that was kind of
Hmm.
like the prototype for that genre. I was listening to a couple Judas Priest albums at the gym. Defenders of the Faith. That's just like corny. He's power metal, but it's good for working out. Oh, the new sound. Jordy Greep, my cousin and former bassist, told me I gotta listen to this album, so I saved it on Spotify. But I haven't really jumped into it very much yet. But I kind of like the black MIDI
Hmm.
alternative progressive rock sound. Is kind of neat. Oh, Chat Pile's new album is really good. Cool World. I listened to only one of their albums before. I think they have a few of them now. But yeah, that's a pretty fun album. It's I guess like sludge metal, sludge rock, but it's pretty
How
good.
do you balance having like being a soft? I don't know. Am I allowed to say that? I
I'm
don't
a
want to
software
like
engineer. Yeah, it's
Okay,
okay.
okay, sure. Yeah, you're as a software engineer, but also being a YouTuber. Like, how do you balance the two? And of course, you being an artist and like having these other interests. Like, I see you doing photography. How do you balance all that?
It's not easy. Yeah, no, since like the summer, it's been like really, really busy, like too busy. Don't get me wrong, like I enjoy having two paychecks, but it's just like starting to get to be too much. Like
Hmm.
I work all day, and then I work all night, and then I go to sleep and repeat, and I work on the weekends, and like, you know, when I'm finishing a video, like I'm working from like 9 till 9:30, you know, and it's just
Hmm.
too much. Like, but I don't really have an option until I can match my day job salary on YouTube, which I'm getting close to. So hopefully sometime this
Hmm.
year I can go full time, but yeah, it's not an easy thing to balance.
Yeah, I feel you. Because like for me right now with this new video I'm about to upload, it's like a new game I've been like looking forward to just came out, and I've been playing that a lot. And then now
Yeah,
it's like that kind of like sometimes would kill the motivation for a new video.
yeah,
But like,
I feel
man,
that. Yeah,
like this new video. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I got sick recently, and I was playing God of War Ragnarok, which I haven't like played any of. And I got like super into it, and then like I stopped being sick, and I had to work again. But like I just wanted to keep playing. I didn't want to do anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, what was I gonna say? So how does it like just researching and like just making these videos? Like, how's like the process like?
Well, I guess I try to start with an idea. I feel like the video idea is like the most important thing. Like you can like make a really good video, but it's a bad video idea and it'll just flop. But you can make a really bad video that's a great idea and it'll probably still do pretty well.
Hmm.
So I feel like going into my video production having like a really good idea is kind of like the first step before I do anything else. So I just kind of like try to think like, like what's like something that I could talk about that nobody else has talked about or that people are curious about but nobody's thought to like ever explore that curiosity. So that's
Hmm.
kind of like how I start is just by coming up with the idea. Sometimes I'll even do like polls on my community tab. Like I'll say like, what do you guys want to see next from me? And I'll list like three ideas and then whatever people vote the most, I'll just do that idea. But once I have an idea, I guess I just kind of research it. I don't even really know if I have my process is all that special.
Hmm.
But I try depending on what it is, if it's like a video of mine where I'm just kind of exploring like a bunch of different topics, like I guess like a collection video. Like I do a lot of those recently, like my horrors from the Russian internet video. That's just like a collection of different topics that I cover. I just collect the different things I want to talk about and then I start writing. But if it's like a sorry,
Oh
my webcam just shut off. What the hell?
no, that happens to me all the time with this camera.
Yeah, just
It's still recording. It's like,
yeah, but
yeah, you're all good.
damn, I had that great quality though. It's gone.
I know that feeling. Sometimes like this camera, like my wire's weird, so just like disconnect me. So I have to use my
Yeah,
MacBook camera for the rest of the episode. That happened to me twice. I was like,
yeah, I
not
think.
good.
All right, well, you get this angle of me for now.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Yeah, so if it's like a collection kind of video, then I just collect the different topics and I start writing. Those are pretty
Hmm.
straightforward, but some of my videos are more like video essay kind of videos, and those are more
Hmm.
complicated to put together. Like my Wire AI generated videos, so terrifying. Like it's structured, but it's not as like straightforward as just talking about one topic after the other. Like I
Hmm.
need to kind of like jump between different ideas and segue between them, and it's a little more complex. So a video like that, I'll like put together like an outline and just kind of like write down everything I want to talk about. And like over time, I start to reorder those like plot points to kind of like build a more cohesive like picture.
Hmm.
And especially those video essay kind of videos, like I try to like learn everything I can about the topic before I actually start writing so I don't like come off like an idiot.
I feel you.
So I think those videos are like my best kind of videos, but the videos where I just talk about four different scary videos that I found online are definitely a lot easier to make and they seem to do better. So
Hmm.
YouTube's like discouraging me from improving my content, but that's
Yeah,
just how
that's
it
I'm in the
goes.
same boat
Yeah.
because like I'm kind of stuck as the horror series guy or horror infection guy. Like my favorite
Yeah.
video, and I'm happy that really blew up, was my Urban Legends video. But
Yeah.
every time I try to make a video similar to that, it just flops. So I have to make another horror series video. I'm like kind of stuck. Like, man, I don't want to cover because my comments will be like, "Can you cover this horror series?" And I'll check it out. It's like the lamest stuff ever. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man.
I feel that because sometimes like I'm looking for something to cover and it just feels like the stuff I'm talking about is like kind of ridiculous or just stupid.
Hmm.
And like I feel like I get that feeling because I just look up this stuff so much that I kind of become numb to it.
Hmm.
Like I'm just constantly looking at this scary stuff online and it's just not hitting the same way it used to. So like I've kind of like learned to like have a judgment of how creepy things on the internet are that's just
Hmm.
completely separate from my own like natural reaction to it, which is kind of
Yeah.
strange, but I feel like if I didn't have that, like I just don't know how I would continue making content like this.
Mhm. Yeah, how disturbing are you willing to get? Because from an outside perspective, just looking at your titles and thumbnails, it doesn't seem like you're gonna talk about like literal like cases or disturbing films. It just seems like this is kind of scary.
Yeah,
Yeah. So how like what's like your line? What's your fine line?
I don't know. Like, I feel like if I covered stuff that was like actually really disturbing, like a true crime sort of stuff, I would just kind of get depressed after a while. And I don't want to like just be covering stuff that actually makes me sad.
Yeah.
So like I try to find like that genre of internet horror that really fascinated me when I was younger, like back
Hmm.
in like the early 2010s when this stuff really had an effect on me. I kind of look for like that sort of vibe, I guess,
Hmm.
unexplained video, but it's not actually like something bad happening to somebody. It's just kind of like creepy and unexplainable. That's
Yeah.
like the sort of like, I guess, vibe that I look for. I don't want to like cover too much true crime, although I do cover true crime sometimes,
Hmm.
but just not that often, I suppose.
Yeah, because like I mean I'm covering fictional stuff, but like I do have that Legoland video, which did flop initially, but now it's at 76K
That was a
views.
good video. I'll watch that one.
Oh, you watched the Legoland video?
Yeah,
Yeah, like I like that video a lot. It was just like I was like dodging corners. I was just like, because like I've never like covered something like actually like to deal with like people dying. So it's like I had to like dodge. I had to cut a lot of stuff. Like there were cases I had to cut out of the script because it was like it just felt like it was Legoland was in the news article's title, and I was just talking about some guy's death just because it had Legoland in the title. I
yeah.
was like, nah, I had to cut that out. It was like it was just car accidents that happened from people driving to or from Legoland. So I was like,
It's
nah, I have
like
to
yeah,
cut
like
this
the
out.
weakest connection.
I know it's like, and then I have like other video ideas that are like crime cases, but they have to do with like like one's about this YouTuber who like died, but she was like a really popular kids YouTuber. There's a whole mystery around that. It's like so dodgy. It's like I want to talk about this, but I don't want to seem like I want to like give it the most respect as possible. You know, I don't want to seem like
Yeah,
I'm just talking about something morbid and profit
and
off of it. Yeah.
yeah, you have to be like really careful with that because people
Hmm.
like get super upset if they even
Yeah.
catch like an ounce of like disrespect when you're covering like a sensitive topic like that. You
Hmm.
really have to like walk. It feels like walking a tightrope. Like I did a
Hmm.
video recently about Viper the rapper, which totally flopped. My like worst performing video in like a year, and I actually really liked that video a lot because Viper is like a topic that like I've been interested in like for like 12 years. Like I've literally talked to this guy before, and I tried hard to cover it sensitively, but people just kind of weren't happy with my effort,
Hmm.
I guess. I had i had talked a lot about Viper's music in that video, which I felt was an important topic because I mean that's why he was known in the first place, and like I have history listening to his music, and a lot of other people do too. People just kind of wanted me to only talk about like the crimes that he committed, which is fair, like but it's just not really covering the entire story either if you don't
Yeah.
talk about why this person was even famous at all. And yeah, I don't know. That video didn't do very well. People also didn't like that I had a sponsor spot in that video, which is
Hmm.
fair enough, but they say like it's wrong to profit off of like talking about a disturbing topic, but I don't think some people like realize that they themselves are enjoying the disturbing topic, like they're watching for entertainment. Is that
Hmm.
is that better? Like it's a two-way transaction. I make the video, they watch it. That's how it works. That's how YouTube works. If
Hmm.
they don't want to like that monetize the fact that it's monetized thrown in their faces, they just shouldn't watch that sort of
So how do you feel about like other true crime content creators? Because that is something I talk about like a decent amount on the show. I'll just bring up, hey, like we'll just talk about like true crime channels. So like, how do you feel about like true crime content on YouTube?
thing. What? Well, like Nick Crawley, for example, I really like Nick
Yeah.
Crawley's videos. I think he's a great YouTuber. Um, I don't like really consume a lot of true crime content though. Like
Hmm.
in general, like I used to listen to like quite a few true crime podcasts. Oh yeah, I guess yeah. Podcasts definitely. I've listened to a lot of true crime podcasts. Like I'm a big fan of like Last Podcast on the Left. I think they
Hmm.
make a lot of entertaining stuff. There's also Case File. They're a Australian podcast. They focus on a lot of Australian crimes, which is kind of interesting. But I don't know. I guess like when it comes to true crime, I guess I prefer it in podcast format because it's audio only, and I just kind of throw it on while I'm like doing some chores or something. Whereas on YouTube, I don't know. I've like seen like some true crime. Like I think there was what was it, Merc Stocks. They made a lot of like true crime videos that I watched years ago. Actually, you know what? I'm completely neglecting something. I'm neglecting this whole wave of body cam
Oh yeah,
videos that
those have
are
been popping
completely
up like
taking
over
over
and
YouTube
over.
right now. Yeah, I guess I watch those sometimes, but like that's sometimes like I guess it's true crime. It's not even really like an investigation most of the time. It's just showing like police body cam footage.
Mhm.
So it's not really the same thing as like a really big deep dive into a topic.
Yeah, because like when it comes to true crime, I see like people take like different like takes on it, like Nick Crowley and Dire Trip, or like
Oh, I like
let's say
Dire
like
Trip too. Yeah,
yeah, I love Kyle. I've been trying to have him on the show. He has me added on Discord, but yeah, like those two, like they just like make it like a video essay format. You have like the Rotten Mango, like Stephanie Sue, who she just talks about it, which is kind of similar to like a podcast.
yeah.
There's the Makeup channel, which I'm very iffy on. Like the Makeup true crime channels, like I'd prefer it not existing.
I haven't
Like
heard of
they,
it. What is it?
so like people will like do makeup in the middle of like they'll talk about a true crime like topic, like they'll talk about a case, and like they'll do makeup when talking about the case.
That's like such a new internet thing.
Yeah, it's like I'm very iffy on it. Like the reasoning for it is because it makes them like I guess it puts them at ease when like or like it just looks familiar, like you're seeing someone else do makeup. So like I don't know,
Yeah,
like it doesn't really make sense to me. I don't really like it, but like if
it
people
just
enjoy it,
it
I
just sounds like
guess.
those like TikTok videos where they're just reading out a Reddit post with the AI voice and there's like
Yeah,
Minecraft
I was about to bring
gameplay in the
that up.
background.
AI
That's
true
kind of what
crime
it.
content.
Yeah, so we can get into that. That's like an insane rabbit hole now. Like my like I have like a logged out YouTube on a different browser that I use just for research for YouTube's Unwatched Horrors because I if you watch like enough videos that don't have a lot of views, YouTube will start recommending you specifically videos that don't have a lot of views. I don't know
Hmm.
why. I guess like the
Oh yeah,
amount
that
of
happens
views
to
is
me.
like yeah, I guess the amount of views a video have has is like a data point that YouTube takes into account. So if you watch enough videos with low views, YouTube will start recommending you more videos with low views. And so
Hmm.
my Firefox YouTube is just full of that stuff. And the AI, like true crime content, is crazy. Like, just the sheer volume of it is insane. Like, like 50-minute long videos that have like two views. And there's just like thousands of them. There's thousands of channels, there's like thousands of videos. Like, they're just everywhere. I guess like the people that are making this stuff, they can just make it in like a few seconds probably by just copy and pasting text into a voice generator, and then I don't know, they probably put some graphics over it, but yeah, the AI stuff is like a plague on YouTube.
And like in terms of true crime AI content, like sure maybe like the voiceover stuff, like the JCI stuff, maybe that's real, but like that just makes me think: are any of these cases like actually real? Like people just take in
Yeah,
content without really researching into them. Like I'll look at a reel and I'll like read off Wikipedia, and then that's how I consume like that new fun fact. I won't like research into it. So it's the same thing with these AI like true crime channels. Is like,
I
are these cases
swear,
even real?
I swear I heard of somebody getting in trouble because they were covering fake cases. I don't remember where I heard that or where what it was about, but I swear some
Mhm.
content creator got into trouble for covering like knowingly fake cases. I don't remember any other details though.
Yeah, let's like take some time to just hate on AI. Like you seem to be a big AI hater, and that's like a common theme in this show. I think at
Yeah,
least half the episodes I have, we just shit on AI. So just take some time to just hate AI. So like
I mean, like
go all out.
I don't like particularly hate AI as a concept. I just kind of like one. I hate people's understanding of AI. I think is that's like a huge problem, And yeah, I hate like how like AI generated content has shaped the internet in a really negative way. Like for example,
Hmm.
I'm gonna get back to my day job here. I work as a software engineer. I've worked as a software engineer since 2015. And when I first started out, if you had a problem, you could just Google it, and you would find like somebody else who had the same problem. They would ask a question on Reddit or Stack Overflow, and you
Hmm.
would find a solution, right? Or at least like something to try out. But in the last like 2 years with AI, people just aren't asking other people anymore. They're just asking like ChatGPT for coding advice instead of posting questions and getting answers from real people. And because of this, when you like Google a programming problem, all the answers are like 3 years old, which, in software development, that's like a lifetime. Like if there's an answer from 4 years ago, there's a pretty good chance it's not going to be relevant anymore. So like,
Hmm.
we've gone back to the days of reading programming documentation front to back. Like I did, when I was like 15, which is just crazy that it's like this now. And like I'm a senior engineer, so like I can deal with most stuff without Googling it. But like I feel really bad for like junior developers who are just now getting into it because like they don't have like this same support system that I had when I
Hmm.
first started out in software development. And so like I think that's one of the worst things that AI has done for the internet has
Hmm.
just the huge roadblock they put into programming. And like, some people might say, "Oh, well, why don't you just ask AI as well, Farrell?" And you know what? It sucks. It gives bad answers. It doesn't know what it's
Hmm.
talking about. It's not it can't replace a software engineer. Like software engineering is like really contextual problems don't exist in isolation. They exist in a big project with like a lot of different factors, and AI just can't internalize all of that stuff. And because of that, it gives you a general boilerplate answer that sucks. And people sometimes even blindly implement code that they get spit out by an AI. And that's
Hmm.
another problem. But luckily, the company I work for, they don't let you do that.
Because
So, well, go ahead.
yeah, so, oh yeah, so like because right now I'm a journalism major, but like just like fall semester 2024, I was comp sci before I was like switched over. And like one of the reasons I switched over was AI. I was like, one thing like you said, the roadblock, I didn't really realize how big of a problem that was. I mean, until I was like
Yeah,
just thought about it was because I would use Chat GBT to help myself out with code because I just couldn't really understand like all these Google things. It's like I was
yeah,
kind of using Chat GBT. Another thing I had was just like, because like I guess like just the fear of getting my job stolen by AI. It's like,
yeah.
no, I can't. I mean, I guess,
Well,
yeah.
it's probably not going to happen in software engineering if anybody gets laid off as a software engineer in favor of AI because they're saying, "Oh, AI can just do your job." That's not a company you would want to work for, anyways. So I
Hmm.
don't think there's much of a danger for software engineers to be laid off because of AI. If anything, I think software engineers might have more work because of how AI messes up code bases. I think anytime they blindly implement AI generated code, it just makes like a code base unusable. Like I've talked to people who are software engineers who have tried this, and like AIs will like create functions that don't exist. So it'll take
Hmm.
advantage of like an API that isn't there. It'll just make up code that looks good, but it doesn't actually do anything. And that's like
Hmm.
kind of scary that people just blindly put that stuff in.
How about, how about like as you as an artist, as both a musician, a YouTuber, and a photographer, how do you feel about like generative AI content?
Well, so there's a point where generative AI can be useful, but only in a very certain case. So like for
Hmm.
example, Photoshop, they have generative AI for like that kind of replace the content aware fill. That can be
Yeah.
useful sometimes. That can be useful for replacing an object in a scene. That's like a really good tool. But I think that's the only like useful thing that I've ever done with generative AI. I think I don't think I think like as an artist, as a musician, I'm not worried about like people listening to AI music because I don't think AI music is really good for anything than just like making meme songs. I think that's like its
Hmm.
only real use in terms of like photography and stuff. I mean, I don't think AIs are ever gonna replace a good photographer. I mean, maybe it'll replace people buying stock photos and stuff. I think that's definitely something that's already been happening. I don't know. I guess for me, for photography, I just do it for fun, so I can't really relate to people who actually do it for a living. I'm sure, like, or people who work for like Shutterstock and stuff who are probably like not in a good situation right now because of all this generative AI stuff. I think the worst thing with generative AI though is how it's made people lazy with just writing or communicating. Like
Yeah.
how people just use ChatGPT to like write an email in like a specific tone, which is just wild to me because like it's not.
Hmm.
I don't find it difficult to like write like what like 100 words in an email. I mean that's probably too much, like 50 words.
Hmm.
I don't see why people need ChatGPT to do that for them. I think it's made people pretty lazy when it comes to communication. That's like a pretty negative thing. And I think another thing I really don't like is the way it's kind of like rotted the internet. Just like
Hmm.
AI generated like images. Like you look at something and like you think, oh, is it AI generated? Is it not? It's
Yeah,
just
internet theory.
yeah, like it's just sad that you even need to like think about that. Like
Hmm.
sometimes like when I'm looking at images for stuff, I'll put in like a before search parameter just so I'm sure nothing is AI generated, which is just kind of wild.
Yeah, because like I know it's like I'm seeing this with like high school students and just like students in general. Like now they're using AI to like write paragraphs or like write essays or just answer
Yeah.
questions. Like I'll admit, like for certain classes, I have used ChatGPT for like
If I
because
was
I
in
was in a
school, I
rush.
totally would. If I
Yeah,
was in school, I'd be writing like entire like projects with ChatGPT because I mean I was a lazy student, but like yeah, I totally would do it as well.
yeah, but it's like I think like because like it's already we're seeing the statistic that like kids are having trouble reading and writing. I think
Yeah,
AI is just making that a lot worse, and it's kind of like
yeah,
man.
yeah. They say that when they create like a tool that replaces something that you can do, the ability to do that thing kind of like what's the word atrophies over time. Like people used to be a lot better with like mental math than they used to be
Hmm.
now. Like people aren't like dumber than they used to be. I don't think so at all. I don't think people are smarter than ever, but just certain things like that have atrophied over time. Like people used to have better memories than they have now because now you can just like write stuff on your phone. Uh,
Hmm.
you know, you have like a digital calendar, you have a reminders app. Uh, there's just a lot of like things people used to be able to do that they can't really do anymore. I mean, like, yeah, what's going to happen with AI and if people are just using it to write everything? They don't learn how to actually write anything.
I once saw this video. It was like this prank channel. They got an image of a burger, and then like they put the AI prompt as like cockroaches coming out of it. So then they showed it to like the restaurant worker, and he just ended up getting a new burger. And just imagine if that like gets even farther. Like just
Yeah,
imagine like people will stage a crime with that kind of footage, or like it's we've seen it with the deep fakes. Like people will like have their faces like we've seen like multiple crime cases of this in Korea of like people like students or like famous celebrities having like their faces deep faked on adult videos, and
yeah.
it's scary just thinking about like the potential this thing has.
Oh yeah. I
Mhm.
was also watching that new was it Margarana chip that Microsoft is releasing this like quantum computing chip, and they said one of the use
Mhm.
cases for it is supercharging AI workflows because AI relies on like neural networks and like a really like neural networks with like a lot of different computations happening at once, and apparently that's
Mhm.
something that quantum computing is going to be really good at is like almost like a graphics card, I guess, just doing a lot of like little computations at once. So yeah, I wonder like how that's going to factor into it in the future. If it's going to make it like better, or if it's just going to make it less computationally expensive.
Like, do you ever look at like faceless AI content creators like blowing up and just like feel so like I guess kind of like I don't know really how to describe it. Just like you just kind of like they just blow up like way faster than like me and you could.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
I don't know. Like, I guess I haven't seen too many people like blow up in that way. I've seen
Mhm.
like I've seen like some of these like AI videos have like a few 100,000 views, but I haven't like seen anybody like
Hmm.
I guess I just never went looking for it. I haven't seen like a super successful faceless AI channel.
Hmm.
Honestly, I mostly just see these dead channels that have like 10 subscribers and like no views. That's
Hmm.
mostly what I see. Or I see people on the YouTuber subreddit complaining that their AI faceless channel isn't getting like enough views. I've also seen that quite a bit as well.
Oh, you're on r slash YouTubers.
I was,
Yeah, I mean, I was on it for a bit too, until
yeah,
like everything just kind of became like the same question, like
yeah,
use shorts to get instant
yeah,
10K subs.
yeah. It's a lot of great advice. Do right.
What if like an angel came from the skies and said, Farrell, you can pursue music as your full-time career? Would you like take it in an instant and like just give up the other two?
Jeez, I don't know.
Like
It depends on a
you're
lot
like
of
a
things.
rock star name, like you're in a okay, maybe like not like I don't know, like a top tier. I don't know how to describe like a Jay Z or a Kurt Cobain level musician, but like
I
you're
have
famous enough as a musician. You go on tours, you perform at Coachella.
I have Pitchfork reviewing my remastered collection in 20 years. That's how I see the marker of success. Jeez, I don't know. I mean, like, I think that's like a really like monkey's paw kind of situation where like, what's the downside? You know, I
Yeah.
think. I mean, from what I know, the economics of music sucks. It sucks so bad. Like, it's just
Hmm.
such a bad proposition. Like, I know a lot of people in my local music scene that during COVID, like I knew a guy who owned a music school who like was delivering for FedEx during COVID because he just couldn't make ends meet. This is a
Hmm.
guy who was like pretty upstanding in the community, and like he was taking on like a pretty like lowly jobs just to get by.
Hmm.
And like COVID like absolutely wiped out my local music scene, and people just became so poor. And it's just such a fragile thing being a musician. You don't make much money.
Hmm.
Your income is super fragile. You have to work really hard, but yeah, I mean, maybe if I was a rock star, I wouldn't mind being a rock star. But
Yeah.
honestly, like I really like making music for fun. Um,
Hmm.
I feel like my ideal future would be being a YouTuber and just making music for the fun of it. I
Yeah.
feel like I don't know, like to make even like at a high level in music right now to like make a good living, you have to tour. That's why you
Hmm.
see like Taylor Swift touring for like 4 years straight because that's how she makes the most money, and that's how any musician makes money is by playing shows. And
Hmm.
I'm not at the point in my life where I think I would like to tour much. I'm 29. I've never been on tour, but like my days of playing like a show like every few days are definitely behind me.
Hmm. What was I gonna ask? I mean, like, what was I gonna ask? Was something? Oh no, I was gonna say, yeah, because like when you brought up that economic stuff, I just remember what I was about to say. Was it, like T Pain? He said he made more money off streaming than he did off rapping, and that's like a
Yeah,
legend in the music industry. And I remember just learning that fact, and just thinking how crazy that is.
yeah, I fully believe it. Honestly, I mean the economics suck. Like man, we spent like $20,000 Canadian. It's not the same as American. But we spent that much money on our second album, going to Toronto to record in a fancy studio with a producer that we liked and getting it mastered and doing a bit of marketing. And I think we made like $2,000 back in sales.
Man.
And we probably made a good chunk of the money back by like supporting and playing shows after. But I mean, yeah, the economics just really suck. You can make a YouTube video, it can get like hundreds of thousands of views. You'll make like a few $1,000, and that's like way less effort than like making an album that you spend like a year or 2 years making and just getting nothing back for it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, the economics behind music are just really bad, unfortunately.
Yeah, like those numbers really just put the it just like brought a thought to my head because like I think everyone knows this, but like every famous musician is the son of like someone rich or like the daughter of someone rich or
Very
like
often, yeah.
yeah, like even like Clairo, everyone thought she was just some girl in her bedroom. No, she's the daughter of
She,
a famous producer.
she's the industry plant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's to the point where everybody guesses like who the industry plant is. If somebody seems a little too authentic, they start thinking that they're the industry plant.
Yeah.
I mean, what even is an industry plant? I don't know.
Do you
Yeah,
believe in YouTube plants? Like someone who just like who just kind of just blows up. Like now they're like maybe not a household name, but like they just kind of like I guess YouTube is pushing them more than they probably deserve. I don't want to like I want to say that to like don't undermine anyone's like hard work, but like just just like how a music plant work is like. Do you believe like there's YouTube plants?
I don't know. I feel like probably not. I feel like the algorithm is like pretty fair. I mean, well,
Mm-hmm.
it's not fair, but like I think it's pretty unbiased. I think it mostly just serves content that people want to watch. And I think some
Mm-hmm.
people are just really good at like knowing what people want to watch, or they just tap into a niche like really well, and then you just end up seeing them everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like probably not, but that's like specific to like the YouTube algorithm, I guess.
Yeah, like the YouTube algorithm is like I could do as much research into like how to boost SEO, how to gain more views, and then like all that just doesn't work in my favor.
Yeah.
It's like it's a really like complicated thing.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, you just have to make content that people want to watch. Like
Yeah.
that's the only thing you really need to know about the algorithm is that it's about making stuff that people are curious about. And if you can
Hmm.
like figure that out, then the algorithm will promote you. I mean,
Hmm.
obviously there are factors, many factors about like why a video doesn't do well. It's not always just about like click through rate or watch time. It's also about the other videos that it's competing with in the same
Hmm.
niche. If like I remember one time, my second video that ever popped off was my Facebook AI video, researching AI spam on Facebook, and that video was doing very well for the time. Like my videos at that time were getting like maybe 2,000 views, and this one was getting close to 200,000. And then Danny Gonzalez made a video about the exact same thing, and in fact, he even like made the exact same thumbnail that I had. And after that, views just totally tanked because they were watching his video instead because he has an audience of millions of people, and that's millions of people that are clicking on his video and not on mine. And then
Hmm.
YouTube just ranked his video higher, and it sucks, but it's also not unfair.
Yeah, because like that's like my like fear too, because like when it comes to me in horror series, there's always someone beating me to the punch. Like Nightmind has probably covered like 99% of everything on like
Yeah,
YouTube
every
horror series. Yeah, and then like of course like my most popular video, the Smash Bros. Another YouTuber covered it and his did pretty well as well. But once like part two was gonna come around, like it was really a race.
yeah,
A race I ended up losing on who can release their part two the first. So like
yeah.
this other YouTuber, he released his part two, and then when I saw that like one morning, I was like, oh shoot, I'm about to leave for class. I had to run to my desktop and then just upload the video, and then just like run back to my car, drive to class. I was like,
It's
that was like
exciting
really
though, eh?
stressful. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, in the summer, actually, I remember when the Smart Schoolboy 9 thing was
Oh
happening.
yeah.
That started on Reddit. It was a post on the Internet Mystery subreddit, and I kind of started following it right away. And it would have been like easy to make a video about that topic, like
Hmm.
really quickly after that Reddit post because there wasn't a whole lot of information to talk about. People had already done all the research. But I joined the Discord. I started talking to people in the Discord because, like, if I cover something like that, like when I covered the backroom stuff, for example, I like to connect with the
Hmm.
people actually doing the investigating. And I was talking to them, and they said, "No, no, don't cover it. We're working with the police. You cannot cover it right now." So I didn't. And in fact, I don't know if you're familiar with Source Brew. He's like a guy who
Oh
covers
yeah.
like yeah. He included Smart Schoolboy 9. He was the first person to talk about it, or the first like largest channel to talk about it on YouTube. That Discord community got in contact with Source Brew and got him to delete that part of his video. So he took it out.
Mm.
And so like I'm doing research. I've got like a not a script, but I've got an outline ready whenever they give me the go ahead. And then out of the blue, Nick Crawley and Expo simultaneously drop videos,
Oh
and
yeah,
the
and then Cub had
Discourse,
his too.
yeah, the Discourse freaking out. They're like, "What? What? Why did they do this?" Ah! And it didn't really matter. Like I feel like everybody else should probably have just ignored the Discord because I don't think there even was a police investigation to the degree they were saying. And these
Hmm.
two huge channels just kind of coordinate to do it themselves without really caring about what these random people in this Discord are saying. So there's probably a lesson there somewhere because Nick Crowley got like what 10 million views on that video.
Yeah, that video like blew up, and now like because of that video and also an exposed and Tubbs video, like it was like a hot topic like all over YouTube. Like that's like another problem I had. Like the whole Smart Schoolboy 9 situation, like the case, like that's its own thing, but like the people covering it was kind of like pissing me off because like
Yeah,
now all these TikTokers were like talking about it, and like it was
yeah.
like, all right, they were doing like their soulless TikTok. This guy is a pedophile on Instagram. And then you have like YouTube channels like Pyro and Mudahar, like they're clearly just covering it just for the sake of the clicks. And then you have all like these people like making, of course, there was like the people cosplaying Smart Schoolboy 9.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I mean that's dark humor. Like if people, I don't like it, but like it's not like it's. I don't really know how to say about that one. And then
It's
it was
just
like
a
people like,
reaction to disturbing topics that some people
yeah.
have to
And
make
then there's
light
like
of
all the
it.
misinformation. Like the guy, have you seen the video? The guy interviewed the fake Smart Schoolboy 9.
No, I haven't seen that. The
No,
fake
some
Smart
like
Schoolboy 9?
yeah. So some like they censored his face, but they just got some random fat guy, or it was probably one of their friends or something, and they just hid
Oh,
his face and like we're just talking to him. And then
wow.
like you could clearly tell it was fake, but I mean, there's sure like thousands of people that thought it was real.
Well, anything for clout, eh?
Yeah, and then like all of a sudden, like now, like the next thing on YouTube horror is like all these small channels are finding the next Schoolboy 9. Like they could just
Oh,
find like
yeah.
some random internet topic and be like, "This is for sure gonna blow up. This is the next Smart Schoolboy 9."
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, anytime there's like something actually disturbing happening, people just like jump all over it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what the landscape is now. I think like back probably when I should have started my channel, back in the mid 2010s, there were all of this stuff just wasn't really talked about very much. So it was like really
Mm-hmm.
easy to like find like a really mysterious topic and just kind of dive into it. I remember my
Mm-hmm.
friends and me would use that doesn't exist anymore. That website Rabbit,
Oh, I remember
RABB.IT.
that, and I remember seeing a
Yeah,
video on that.
and it was like a chat. It was like Discord or Skype or whatever group call where you could have like a virtual machine. And so we would have this virtual machine running, and we would download Tor, and we would browse the dark web and just look for creepy things on the dark web, like scary corners of the dark
Mm-hmm.
web. We found like a lot of like crazy stuff there that people have probably covered to death since we were doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, back then it was just totally different. Now, like, people have just kind of sniffed money in this stuff.
Before like the VidCon group chat, like how did like you connect with YouTubers? Like because like I remember when I first like saw your Instagram account, you were already followed by Jaden and Raymundo. So like
So
did they
I,
follow you? They just saw your channel and just followed you, or like did you reach out to them
I
or like
guess
any other YouTubers?
So I connected with a few people when I was working on my backrooms videos because my first backrooms video, like I got into Virtual Carbon's server and like I started talking to a lot of the people like doing the search and like working
Mm-hmm.
with them, and through them I met Brugly because Brugly was also on that server. And when they actually found the location of the backrooms image, they created a group chat and they added me to it because like I found some I was the one who found some of the original pictures of the original location in newspapers.com.
Mm-hmm.
So they added me to this group chat with Brugly and Blame It on George and Virtual Carbon and a few other guys. So I met like some people through there. But I think Jaden just watched one of my. I think he watched my backrooms video and he just like followed me on Instagram. And I think same with Raymundo. He just kind of followed me on Instagram one day and I followed him back because I've also watched a few of his videos. But I guess my being introduced to YouTubers has mostly just been through like just people either following me on Instagram or I follow them and then they follow me back.
Yeah, I mean
And
it's just me and just messaging them. Like before the VidCon group chat, I was just like I initially when I first started the show, I emailed everyone, but no one checks their emails. Then it's just like I just messaged a bunch of creators, and the only ones that responded were Adrian Ghastly and Raymundo. And of course, through the
that's how
show
you
and then
know.
through Adrian, I just
That's how
got
you
everyone
know who
else.
the. That's how you know who the cool guys are when
Yeah,
they actually respond.
yeah. mean, yeah. I guess like I'll just get to some bullet questions. So, yeah, at the end, I just have a few bullet questions, and then we have our segment. So,
Right.
what is your favorite food of all time?
Oh geez, favorite food. That's pretty tricky. This is gonna be super random, but like I really love like a freshly cooked loaf of sourdough bread. That's like the best thing ever. Right out of the oven, a loaf of sourdough bread is just like the best texture, the best taste. That's probably my favorite food.
Awesome, awesome. I've actually never had like a freshly baked bread before. Well, actually, I've had
It,
it once, and that was in a bakery in San Francisco. I feel like I'm definitely missing out.
I know it's like not as popular in the U.S. So you guys like your Wonder Bread a lot, but yeah,
Wonder bread.
fresh bread or like fresh bagels, like the best thing ever. Like if we buy like a big loaf of bread from the bakery, I swear to God, like I'll eat half of it in one day. Like I'm so addicted to it.
No, you guys have good food there. Like all the times I went to Canada, I've never had a bad food experience. You guys have a better Popeyes than we do. Popeyes is already good
Maybe
on its own. I had the
one
best chow mein ever in Canada. I forgot
we
what it
have a
was
lot of
called.
good immigrant food. I find definitely like just because we have like a lot of immigrants, the one nice like side effect of that is just having a lot of like good immigrant food. Like if you go to Toronto, you can get like food from like any culture there, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think I had the best boba ever in Canada now that I think about it. I remember just being like some Chinese restaurant. I got like this drink with like lychee jelly and boba. It was like the best drink I've ever had.
Yeah,
And then
boba's
like
really
even like your
popular here.
cultural dishes like sausage rolls, those are good.
Oh yeah,
Poutine, beaver tails, those are great.
oh yeah, but poutine's definitely pretty good. It's like the best hangover food.
All right, what is your favorite video game of all time?
Favorite video game? Oh my lord. I guess actually no, it's pretty easy to quantify. I think Dark Souls 3. I've been Dark Souls 3 like 5 times now. I don't usually
Mhm.
play video games more than once, but I don't know, something about Dark Souls 3 just worked really well for me.
Mhm.
It's
You
like
play the other FromSoft games, like the first two Dark Souls and like all those other
yeah,
titles?
I played through Dark Souls 1. I played through like half of Dark Souls 2, but it was just too long and I gave it up at some point. I played through Bloodborne twice. I haven't fully beat Elden Ring yet. I haven't fully beat Demon Souls. But yeah, Dark Souls 3 for some reason. I played that one over and over again.
Awesome. So are you a Nintendo? Okay, were you a Nintendo, Xbox, or PlayStation kid?
Oh, I was a PlayStation kid all the way. Fact, I still got my PSP in my drawer.
Those like go for so much money now. Like you could probably sell that for like that $5,000.
What you gotta do is you gotta get one from Japan.
Oh
That's
yeah.
because they just got so many of them for some reason, and you can just order one from eBay from Japan for like I don't know, $60, and it'll be in like perfect condition.
What is your favorite cartoon?
Favorite cartoon? Jeez, that's a tough one. I guess like the one that I've enjoyed the most over the years would probably be South Park. I've
South
like
Park.
I South Park was like a core part of my childhood. I watched like South Park when I was really young, and I didn't understand like most of the references. It's like one of those shows I've seen like multiple times, and like every time I revisit it, like the entire series, I pick up more stuff than I did the last time I watched it. So I feel like South Park is like the cartoon that's like cemented the most in my mind.
South Park was one of those cartoons that was banned in my household. Like, I mean, for good
Yeah.
reason. To this day, I've never seen a full episode
See,
of
it was
South
banned in
Park.
my house too, but I just pirated it at some point, and that's how I watched it on like an iPod Touch.
All right, if there's anywhere in the world you could visit, where would it be?
I
You
would
just
really,
teleport to there and like you're there.
oh, teleport there. That makes it interesting.
Yeah.
I have a couple answers to that. So practically, I would love to see Japan one day. I would love to just go to Asia. I would just
Mhm.
love to go somewhere where like it's not mostly just white people because everywhere I've been has just been countries with only white people. I'd like to go somewhere that's like a little different, where the culture's like separate, has been grown from separate roots. That would be super interesting to me. So I'd love to go to like Japan or South Korea or
Mhm.
somewhere in Asia. I would love to see China, but China's just so locked down and it's not really safe for Canadians either right now. But
I think
China's like
like
such a
Beijing or like Hong Kong would be fine.
Hong Kong, yeah, or Macau, I think would be the two
Hmm.
places that would you could safely visit, or Taiwan. Taiwan would be super cool because that's like China, but not like authoritarian.
Well, you
But
gotta be careful. You might have some, yeah,
yeah, Taiwan, Chinese culture.
yeah. You might have some like sensitive viewers in here.
Yeah,
We might
well,
have both governments watching, being like, "Yeah, we
oh
gotta
gee,
ban this episode."
oh jeez. Well, I'll say I love Chinese culture. China's super interesting. There's like so much interesting stuff in China that like you just don't really learn about in the West because we mostly, in school you just learn about like Roman Empire, Greek Empire, England, France. You don't really learn about China's history. And there's
Mhm.
just like a lot of really interesting places in China, like these really old places that I've never heard anything about. I would love to see China just because it's like so different from where I live. So if I could like go anywhere, it would probably be China, but practically I'd probably visit somewhere else in Asia.
You could have any superpower, what would it be?
Any superpower? Civic, I would love to see exactly the stats that my video is going to get before I upload it. I would love to see the click-through rate of a certain title and thumbnail combination. I would love to see how well a video does before I make it. That would be the most useful superpower in the world to me.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something like time travel, flight, or like
No,
invisibility.
I'm a very pragmatic person.
All right, what is some advice you'd give to a creator starting out?
Jeez, like on YouTube specifically?
Yeah.
I think just care about your videos a lot. I think you have to find that balance between like making like a video that you really like a lot and like playing into the algorithm a little bit. It's very important to learn how to play into the algorithm and like make content that people want to watch. But I think it's like really important to make videos that you're really happy with because the algorithm can promote you, but like the reason why viewers stick around is because you're passionate about what you do and you like pour love into every video that you make. And so I think like
Mhm.
just always like keeping that love of what you do is like so important. And I know this like super generic advice, but like I've seen like so many YouTubers who just obviously don't care about the videos they're making. And like maybe they'll get a lot of views on one video, but like they don't really stick around for future uploads as much. So I think just really like pouring your heart out into everything you do is what makes viewers become fans of you and not just watch your videos.
Great advice, great advice. All right, and then I guess we can get to our segment. End of every show, I'll have you, the guest, pull up a drawing app while I give a fun fact about a random marine animal.
All
So
right.
you can just pull up that drawing app. It can be Paint, it can be Photoshop, it can be whatever drawing app you want it to be.
Let me see
So
what I got. I'm on my Mac right now.
there, you could probably just find like a drawing website.
There's like Paint on the web browser.
Mm-hmm. And are you familiar with a giant isopod?
No, that sounds interesting though. Okay, I've got
Just
JS
imagine
Paint.
a giant aquatic cockroach.
All
Or no,
right.
it's more like a roly-poly. It's like a giant roly-poly.
Okay, I'm just
And
gonna
you can just
enable this. Yeah, I'm just. I need to
and
give
you
it
can just pull up a
permission.
reference image whenever you need to, and then just let me know when you're ready to start. And the fun fact about giant isopods is that they curl up when threatened. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't remember where I saw that. Okay, I'm really bad at drawing, but I'm gonna do my best.
So
here.
is everyone else on this show. You're good.
Yeah, I'm no
All
Shea
right,
Valley
and
or Adrian Gasly.
you brought up those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, you did like their drawings?
No, I'm saying that I am not like those guys. I have no visual artistic ability like at all.
No, I didn't even finish his drawing.
Okay, but
You're
like
good.
they are artists in that way, and I am not.
All right, and gotta just let me know when you're ready to start.
Yeah, I can go anytime.
All right, and your timer starts now.
Alright, this is gonna be beautiful. Be the best giant isopod you've ever seen.
Got 30 seconds left.
Almost. Yeah, you're totally gonna be able to tell exactly what this is when you see it. It's very obvious. May not be totally symmetrical, like
All right, you got 10 seconds left.
maybe I can do a cheeky little fill here.
All right, your timer is finished. So you can just send me a
Yeah.
screenshot and then
Yeah,
we'll just
sure.
review it.
Let me save this to my downloads, and then I can send in the chat here.
Yeah, you can just send it to me.
I might have to do over Discord. It's not like me.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant through Discord. I forgot
Okay.
there's a chat feature in this app.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go. It's really good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
I mean, you could totally tell that it's a giant isopod when you look at it.
Awesome.
If somebody
awesome.
showed that to me, I would say, "Oh yeah, that's a great drawing of a giant isopod."
So before we end today, you have any closing thoughts you want to give out? Anything you want to plug in?
Geez, just thanks for having me on. I love
Of
doing
course.
stuff like this, and I enjoyed your previous episodes, so it's really cool to come on and do one myself.
All right. Where can the people find you?
YouTube.com/Farrell McGuire / @Farrell McGuire, I think. If you look up Farrell McGuire on YouTube, you'll probably see my channel, or on Google or wherever. Farrell
Yeah.
McGuire, like Will Ferrell, but with A's instead of E's.
Awesome. Yeah. So like, yeah, just thanks for coming on. I mean, I think I asked you a while ago, and like I remember Jaden brought you up when after I had him, I was asking him, hey, what YouTubers can you help me get on? And you were on that list. So I was like, oh hell yeah, Farrell McGuire. I love that guy. So yeah,
Yeah,
it was great having you on.
yeah. You might have sent me a message request, and I probably just didn't check it. I'm like
Yeah, I
really
sent you
bad at
like
Instagram.
I've sent so many people message requests, and like it's just funny just to see people respond to them like months later. Even
Yeah,
Jaden didn't respond until like 2 months later.
yeah. I really wish that like Instagram wouldn't automatically delete message requests that you don't respond to, because like I just don't always open that folder, And then like they delete them after like 30 or 60 days or something.
Oh, I never
And
knew that.
yeah, they
'Cause, like,
automatically delete them after a while.
because for some people they have like request only, so it's like you
Well,
can't
that's
send
just
another
ridiculous.
message.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're at request only, then you should probably be checking your inbox more.
yeah, because that's how most of these guys are. Most of these guys were request only. Like, it was just kind of done. I couldn't send them another message anymore
Yeah,
until like they eventually did.
yeah. Well, I guess to any viewers, if you want to contact me, email is probably the best way, because at least it doesn't go anywhere. But I check my
Yeah.
email. Not everybody does.
Yeah, so yeah, just thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
you were
thanks
great
for
to
having
have
me. This was a
on.
lot of fun.
Of course, yeah. Everyone check out Farrell McGuire on YouTube, Patreon, Instagram, all those places. Go check him out at Bandcamp as well. Listen to his music. Make sure that pops off as well.
Yeah, neverendingcorridor.bandcamp.com, or on every major streaming service. Or Woodlake, that was my shoegaze band, Woodlake on Spotify, YouTube Music, whatever you use.
Awesome. So yeah, and the audience, yes, thanks for listening. If you got this far, I mean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, rate us 5 stars. Thanks to Ryan for editing this video. Thanks to Disc for making the aquarium. And yeah, Finn,